Welcome everybody today to our November 18th Financial Services Committee meeting. On this committee are myself, Councillor Bressie, Councillor Flack, and Mayor Clayton. So we'll call the meeting to order and I'll do our land acknowledgement. The city respectfully acknowledges the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretaker of these lands and surrounding areas. We're grateful to live, work, and play on Treaty 8 Island and acknowledge these lands have been home to diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations since time immemorial. So I'll just look for an adoption of agenda, please. Councillor Bressie.
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Thanks for the motion. And that carries. We have no delegations, and with that, we do have an in-camera portion. We'll just ask somebody from committee to make that motion to go in camera. Councillor Bressie.
So moved.
Okay, thanks for the motion. And that carries. And with that, we will go into motion. We'll just pause for a bit here and Welcome back to our Financial and Services Committee. So we'll move on in our agenda. So we'll head into our reports, and I'll just go to our service area update and look to Chief Whiteway, please.
Thanks, Chair Palat. So an update from the service area. The financial management team is in the midst of year-end process and procedure planning. And this week, we welcome our external auditors who are on site for interim field work. The business advisor team are working with departments on October month end variances and forecasting. And a reminder to all that budget deliberations will be held next week, November 26th, 27th, and 28th. Taxation and assessment. Our assessors are continuing to determine new assessments for the 2026 tax year. They're also reviewing smaller permits for renovations, decks, basement finishes, and other items to see if permits are complete. And the Downtown Association budget has been received for 2026 and will be coming to next week's committee. Procurement and supply chain management have a few bids on the market: hydrovac and pump out services, Legion field upgrades, intersection improvements, and CAD technical support. Recently closed was the GPrep website design. And recent awards include Winter Walkway, Asset Management Solution, Fire Smart Vegetation Management, Social Media Management Platform, amongst some other items. The GIS team has been preparing for enterprise asset management to start later this year and are providing ongoing support for the PSCC dispatch for GPPS and fire dispatch. As this continues to develop, GIS will establish new required data sets, meet with the policing services, and identify long-term operational requirements. The IT team is also helping to support dispatch, establishing long-term plans for city network requirements. And this is to address the needs for the city-specific departments relocating to City on 99. Upgrades to the Citizen Call Center are now being tested. This is our ice bar system, and it's gone through a number of changes. And once in production, this system will be expanded throughout the city for ease of use. The Business Continuity and Disaster Recovery Project has started. This is a multi-year project, and it is an essential step to develop strategies that organizations can implement to ensure operational resilience during and after unexpected disruptions. And that concludes my update.
Okay, thanks for that, Chief Whiteway. Any questions from committee at all? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to our next item on our agenda, and we'll just come back to you for our Q3 financials, please.
Thank you again, Chair Palat. So the Financial and Administrative Services Committee recommends that Council receive the financial statements and supporting information for the period ending September 30th, 2025. So I will respectfully assume you've all reviewed the report, and so I will just highlight a few items if you want to follow along in Appendix 1. On page 3, you'll find the Statement of Financial Position, and this presents the city's financial and non-financial assets, as well as financial liabilities. Total financial assets of the city as of September 30th were $368 million. This is an increase of $7.6 million from the same reporting period last year. This increase is the net result of increases in accounts receivable, taxes receivable, agreements receivable, and the city's investment in Aquaterra. Financial liabilities of the city as of September 30th were a total of $214 million. This is comparable to the same period last year. So as of September 30th, the city is in a net financial asset position of $154 million. This indicates that the city has sufficient financial assets to settle existing liabilities and support future operations. If following on pages 4 and 5, you'll find the Statement of Operations. This is the statement that reports on the revenues, expenses, and results as of September 30th, 2025. It summarizes the transactions impacting the city's accumulated surplus from the beginning of the year to the end of the reporting period. It will differ from the annual operating budget as it includes non-cash items such as amortization. As of September 30th, 2025, the city had a period surplus after other items for accounting purposes of $28.5 million. This is typical in the third quarter of the year as property taxes, which account for a substantial portion of the city's income, are levied and fully recognized in May, while expenditures are incurred more evenly throughout the year. This surplus is expected to decline in the remaining quarter of the year as operational spending continues. That brings me to the operating variances on pages 6 and 7. As of September 30th, 2025, the city is expecting an overall operating surplus from budget of $3.45 million. This equates to a 1.6% variance from the total city operating budget of $215 million. This variance of $3.45 million is comprised of a forecasted municipal operating surplus of $670,000 and a forecasted policing services surplus of $2.8 million. The forecasted municipal operating surplus is largely attributable to additional permit revenue from increased development activity and operational cost savings. This includes a reduction in insurance costs and other savings within general goods and services from department's ongoing review of expenditures to achieve operational savings. This overall surplus is reduced by anticipated retroactive payments from union negotiations, reductions in court fine revenues, and increased costs for repairs and maintenance to facilities and equipment. For details of salary variances, those can be found on page 8 of the appendix. The forecasted $2.8 million surplus in policing services is comprised of preliminary estimated savings in the RCMP enforcement contract, resulting from the ongoing transition to municipal police service. Additional revenue from fingerprinting and criminal record checks and salary savings in excess of management manpower targets also helped with the surplus. And finally, I will conclude the city is currently anticipating a surplus of $3.45 million by year end. And as I said, this is largely the result of increases in development within the city, expenditure savings from ongoing efficiencies, and the anticipated savings in the RCMP enforcement contract. The city maintains a net financial asset position and accumulated surplus, indicating that there are sufficient resources to support future operations. City is also well within provincially prescribed debt and debt servicing limits as required by the MGA and maintains sufficient reserves to support fiscal prudency. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Chief Whiteway. I'll just look to my committee to see if there's any questions. Councillor Bressie.
Great, thank you, Chair Platt. So just scrolling up to find where that was. So I'm looking at page 5, Consolidated Statement of Operations by Object. And Chief Whiteway, if you don't know this offhand, I'm fine with an email response after. But if you do know offhand, I was curious to see operating government transfers go up significantly. I was actually expecting those to go down with provincial changes to how homelessness funding works. Can you just tell me more about what transfers have gone up?
Yeah, through the chair. This is actually where the ICF funding from the County of Grande Prairie has been included in this line item. So that is mostly what's causing the increase there.
Excellent. Thank you.
Seeing no other hands up from committee, I just had a couple questions for you, Chief Whiteway. Just seeing that we're up $685,000 for recreation for the year. Great news. And I'm just curious to see, when we looked at our 2026 budget, did we kind of forecast how 25 was going I guess, how are we forecasting 2026 knowing that number?
Thank you for the question. Absolutely. We've looked at those revenues going forward into 2026, looking at the growth trends that we've had and continued with some of those growth trends going forward.
Okay. So we're confident that we're not undervaluing 2026 budget, knowing that we've had that increase. That's great to hear. A couple other ones I had just on the insurance premiums. It's saying we had a fairly healthy savings there. Is it just something we've done different as an organization, or just better negotiating with insurance premiums, or what was the change there?
Thank you for the question. There has been some changes to internal processes within our insurance and risk management team that has helped us to reduce the amount of premiums we pay. So a lot more internal work being done by our insurance coordinator has helped to reduce some of that.
Okay, Great. Oh, and CEO Burke?
I would just add, we have had lots of discussions with our provider. We get insurance through AB Munis, and there has been some reductions. Part of it contributes, as Chief Whiteway said, some of the work we've done, but also just some of the savings that they are able to pass on to us as well. So both.
That's great news. That's nice to hear. It's always good when we're saving money. And my last one, I guess, just seeing that there was a bit of a surplus in our council city manager's office from assuming a bunch of campaigning was happening and some folks weren't traveling as much. Don't need it today, but I'm just wondering by budget, or if it's something possible for budget, would we know the number that council, outside of our discretionary spending, do we have a budget for what conferences and externals are for the year for that line item? And I don't need to have it today, just maybe it's something you can email out. Just wouldn't mind having that chat at budget potentially, and so just having that information would be very helpful.
We can certainly do that. And I would also like to highlight, though, that there was a vacant position. And so that's why this year you're going to see that savings. So that savings wasn't built in going forward, obviously. But we can certainly provide more detail on what's in that budget.
Okay. And one other question I did have, actually, just have we done a recent look at what our debt per capita is versus other municipalities in Alberta? Like, it seems like we've been, my time on council anyways, it seems like we go up 10 million, we go down, and we're just kind of floating along there, but, and we're nowhere near our debt ceiling, which I'm proud of, but I just wonder, as a sense of scale, like, do we know where we're stacking up with other municipalities in Alberta?
I don't have that offhand. That's certainly something we can probably put together. Even in time, we'll see for budget what we could even put together.
Just a little thought for our committee, not that I expect us by budget by any means, but just we don't have any items on our outstanding business. And I think this is a really good thing for our community, because my gut is that we're going to find out that our debt per capita is quite good compared to a lot of municipalities in Alberta. Just something I think that would be nice for us to know. So just food for thought. If one of you folks on committee would be interested in making a motion for that, that would be great. But seeing no other hands up, I would just look for a motion to accept the report. Councillor Bressie?
No, you know that I'm always happy to get those get those municipal comparisons. So happy to make a motion if you'd like a motion, Chair, and happy to wordsmith. But I'm not requesting this for budget. I think that I'm not in a rush to get it, but I would move that we direct administration to return a report outlining, return a report comparing Grande Prairie's per capita debt to other municipalities.
Okay.
Does that cover what you're looking for?
Yeah, that works for me. I'm just looking at admin. They're nodding heads here, so I think you're good with that one. So I appreciate the motion on that, Councillor Bressie. Any discussion or debate on that?
Sorry, realizing that that's pretty broad, other municipalities, but the cities that we usually see in the comparisons we do, I'm content with. I'm not asking for all municipalities, but what are the actual comparable mid-sized cities to us that I think makes sense to compare with?
No, I appreciate that. I'm just going to see if it's an e-scribe here for you. Maybe just take a look at that, Councillor Bressie, and make sure you're happy with that intent.
Sorry, I'm not seeing where it's popping up in e-scribe.
It just says administration to bring a report back comparing Grande Prairie per capita debt to other municipalities.
Yeah, that works for me. If that works for admin.
Yep. Okay. So any discussion or debate on that? Seeing none, we'll just call that, please. And that carries. Thanks for that, Councillor Bressie. And then if there's no other discussion or debate on the financials, we'll just look for a motion for that, please. Councillor Flack?
I move that committee recommend council receive the unaudited financial statements and supporting information for the period ending September 30th, 2025 for information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. See no hands up. Please vote on that one.
In favor.
And that carries. Thank you for that. So we have no correspondence, other business, bylaw or policy review. So I'll just come back to outstanding item list for Chief Whiteway to let us know we don't have anything.
Thank you, Chair Platt. No changes to the outstanding items list.
I guess we still need to accept the outside items list. So Councillor Flack, do you want to just make a motion for that one?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just finding it here. Yeah, I move committee receive the November 18th outstanding items list as presented for information.
Thank you for that.
In favor.
And that carries. And with that, we will adjourn our Financial and Services Committee. We'll be back momentarily for our next committee. Thank you.